In a city like Singapore, figuring out where to eat and drink can be a daunting task. You have so many good food options that the choices can be dizzying. That's why I think I need a guide. Today, my friend Bryan, who works at the popular employees-only cocktail bar, will be our guide for some great eats and drinks around Singapore. Employees Only is a New York City gem. Since its beginning in the West Village, the cocktail bar has gained global recognition and has been a longtime spot holder in the world's 50 best bars. The bar is located in Chinatown's Amoy Street, which is a landing place for modern restaurants, laid-back cafes, and hip bars. We're here on Amoy Street. I'm gonna meet Bryan, principal bartender at Employees Only. We're gonna have some drinks and talk about the plan for tomorrow.
All right, so this is Amelia. It's one of our employees only classics from New York. It's on the menu since 2004, and we're very proud to say and share to you guys that it makes us a lot of money in New York, like $1 million. But just this lovely drink. So what's inside is we're using a Whitley vodka, and then blackberry puree, elderflower, lemon, and just a little bit of simple syrup to balance it out.
Really good.
Yes, and it's a 45 ml pour, so looks are deceiving.
It's a chunky one.
Yeah.
I still have a lot to do today.
Yeah.
And this one is?
And this one is employees only gimlet. So one of the founders tried to incorporate like classic drinks with a twist of Singapore. So what we did is we use a Navy strand gin, which is we're using 4 Pillars Australian gin. And then we cook our EO lime cordial, which have like agave nectar, fresh lime juice, and kaffir leaves. That's why on the drink itself, we put this for aromatics and
So the kaffir is really that nod to Singapore and in Asia. Right?
yes. So it's like a mix of culture in a glass. It's really good, and it's punchy as well.
Very nice. So maybe for people who don't necessarily know, how would you kind of describe Employees Only and what you guys do in the cocktail or dining scene?
You know, been here for like 5 years, and I always like really happy to share that Employees Only is a speakeasy bar. You could see from like our designs and the way we make drinks. It's just like how we want to represent it is fun, fresh ingredients, fast service, and overall experience.
Yeah, I've been here a few times. Do I remember those few times? Probably not.
Probably not.
But I do remember coming here. And yeah, so usually you do have, it's because at 10 p.m. music picks up a little bit, and a lot of the other people from other bars kind of end up here because it's kind of like high energy and people are dancing, things like
Yes.
that, right? What do you think is so attractive about the Singaporean bar scene?
I could say there's so much things to try on. There's so much influence. I keep on telling them like, you know, if you have specific things, let me know. Oh, this bar offered it. And this bar also caters this kind of people, and they try to push to other concept as well. Like, hey guys, already tried us. What's your next itinerary? So I feel those Singaporeans, locals, and those people who work here, they really just enjoy, and we feel like the community is very tight.
After a big night of drinking, what's kind of like a comfort food or dish for you?
So if I started drinking earlier, probably I will end the night earlier. So if there's still like space or quiet near, I go for Bak Kut Teh, which is like a really, for me, a homey food. I brought up my parents there, you know, like my dad was scolding me one time, like, we drink, and they're like, where's snacks? I need food. So I brought them there. We enjoy our time.
The next day, we headed to Fa Bak Kut Teh, a consecutive Michelin Gourmand Bib awardee for the past 6 years. The store is a modern version of its humble beginnings as a street cart serving bak kut teh. What's really amazing about the food culture here is the capacity to visualize local comfort food like these into commercial business models. There are 3 different types of bak kut teh in Singapore, all attuned to the taste of each ethnic group. The Fujianese prefer a strong, cloudy broth made with rock sugar and a variety of herbs. The Cantonese prefer a more medicinal soup base, and the Teochew, which Songfa's recipe is based on, prefer a light, clear broth with strong notes of pepper and garlic.
Sofa started in 1969. It actually started from a push cart alongside the defunct Johor Road. It's actually by our founders, Mr. Yeo Eng Sol, who is actually second oldest of the 9 siblings in the Teochew family. He started to learn his thing at the age of 19 from a zhicha stall. A zhicha stall in Singapore is actually basically a very favorite store whereby you have a mishmash of dishes where actually Singaporeans will order and eat communally. If you notice, at every outlet we have our push cart, which actually embodies our founders' days and to actually remind us of our beginnings, of where we started.
I'm actually famished, so this is perfect.
Yep.
All right, so tell me, why is this kind of like, when I asked you what places you wanted to check out, what was this kind of like top of your list?
Yeah, because for me, right, I've been living here for quite some time, and it was like way back 2019. This is like quite near to our Filipino dish in sense of, like all those like nilaga, and it kind of reminds me of home. So these dishes, right, are really good at its own, and it kind of flexible when it comes to like local foods. I introduced it to my mom and my dad. Yeah.
So it's your version of comfort food,
Yes.
but in the same time, and yeah, because it reminds you a little bit of what's served at home. And
So basically, you could like put the soup on the rice. Yes.
yes, I've always been team soup on rice. All right, let's eat.
You could take the soup, put it on your rice first. Like, go ahead.
So this is like a very oily, very peppery soup, right?
Yes. And then after that, you could take your piece of meat and
Put on the rice.
yes. I'm really down into the chili padi. That's my favorite. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. You could also start like this, dip in here, like similar
Okay,
to kikiam.
I'll start with this then.
Yeah.
Chili sauce.
Lumpiang Shanghai in sense of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Texture-wise, like kikiam is more blended, right? And this is really more of lumpia Shanghai without the lumpia wrapper. And then we have rice. So the soup is not really like
Like,
floating.
yes. Put a bit of like this.
So you put this in here also. Am I supposed to eat the rice with this? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay.
You can. No worries. There's no right or wrong. I remember my first time eating, like, which is later on, we'll be having some noodles.
Yeah.
Some Filipinos are telling me, like, you will not feel the Singapore experience until you use the chopstick and you'll need to learn it. Yeah.
That's true, yeah, because we're all about the spoon and fork.
Yes.
So very just straightforward. You can tell that it's been cooked for a long, long time. Like the peppery notes really come through in the dish. I'm a soup guy though, so I kind of really just want to
Please go ahead.
drink the soup.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's why you don't drink it, yeah, okay. It's very,
Intense.
very strong,
Yeah.
intense, flavorful.
And then you could also, like, dip this in here.
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
So do you feel yourself becoming more and more Singaporean every year?
Yes, when it comes to food, man, I gained so much weight by just like indulging, especially those hawker centers who offer like
Everything.
everything. I could say the culture here is very diverse because of like the people here. So there's so much idea on the food and the flavors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get this one.
Those pork.
Yep. How do you feel about it? Good.
That's insane.
Yep.
If someone were to ask you to define Singaporean food, how would you kind of describe it?
Pretty much say it's a really mix of Chinese, Malay influence, but the influence is so much. For me, it's a really good variety. When you ask, what's good in Singapore? There's so much. It's so hard.
Everything.
It's so hard to explain, but when you indulge the food, you will understand. Like, oh, the culture was brought to the table, and that flavors was being showcased to your palate.
Yeah.
We've gone to a bar in Amoy Street, a Michelin awarded restaurant chain, and now Bryan brings us to Foodie Wonderland, the Chomp Food Center in Saragon Gardens. It's smaller than most hawker centers, but the place is packed, and it's amazing to see all the uncles and aunties in action, whipping up their specialties in each of their booths.
So this one thing I like about Singapore is that you still get places that don't really feel like they're part of a huge city. People will come to Singapore for the first time, they expect high-rise buildings, MBS, all this beautiful modern infrastructure.
Yeah,
But personally, for me, this is the beauty.
this is the authentic experience.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, depending on also where you live, is it really different neighborhoods have their different kind of like hawker centers?
Yes, they do. You could like have options to learn from how they cook and then you start learning how to cook it at home. So you kind of learn and add values to your life as well. But the very best thing, right, is eating at hawker centers, seeing the uncles, the aunties.
That's part of it, right? You're watching them making the food. You see them put the ingredients. So I'm a really unoriginal tourist. When I come to Singapore, I think of black pepper crab, or chili pepper crab, right?
Gotcha.
I like the lady walking with the crayfish. I saw the crayfish and I'm like, I kind of want some crayfish.
Yeah, it's inviting.
Right? What do you think something good that people should try here?
Something good and authentic would be the barbecue stingray.
Okay.
And then as someone who's been here for quite some time, sambal kangkong has always been like a perfect match for it.
What else do you feel like? So when you come here, what else do you look for?
I always look for satay, sometimes noodles. Oyster omelette is a must as well.
I think the great hack here is to come at 4 p.m. when they're just about to open.
Everything is just like
so
this.
There's still space and you get everything fresh, right?
Yes.
But those chicken wings look absolutely delicious.
It's fire.
Just to be clear, we don't usually eat this much.
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a lot of food. I actually don't know where to start. I feel like we should start where we don't naturally gravitate.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I don't know if you've tried that before.
I haven't tried it.
Okay, that seems to be like the most. Okay, let's try this. So crayfish, black pepper sauce. This looks insane. Look at that. So in the Philippines, this is called kuracha.
Yep.
Very popular in Zamboanga.
Zamboanga.
Yeah. Oh my God. You see how the meat just comes out? It's so soft and it's so well cooked.
Yeah. There's some in Philippines, they cook it as what kind of dish?
It's with alivar sauce, like a peanut, almost like a satay sauce.
Okay.
Yeah. Why isn't this more recommended? That is just full, and it's so well cooked.
Yep.
Perfectly fried, so moist, tender inside. There's a little bit of breading there, right?
Yep.
I feel like I don't want to eat anything else. I'm good. Stop. The stingray, I mean, you should be able to kind of just do one of those to get it all out like that.
How do you feel about it?
Spicy. That's how I feel about it. I didn't realize it was going to be that spicy. Thank God I'm coconut.
Yeah. You want to try some citrus?
Yeah. I need something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very heady spice, right?
Yeah.
That completely surprised me. Caught me off guard. Stingray, onion pickle. That's really tasty.
It is, but it's quite intense.
It's really intense.
Yeah, really
There's a lot of garlic in there, a lot of chili, a lot of spice, a lot of dried chili also.
Like fried omelette.
Oyster omelette.
And there's like a Singapore best food, so they're rating hawker centers by how they perform and how they being rated by consumers as well.
Let's do the chicken wings.
Wings, let's go.
I mean, I just love the drama of when they cook it, the smoke, the smell, and the color is so perfect.
And it's all over your face, like, it's
you
very
see it.
inviting. I'm a slave for calamansi.
Let's mix this. Is that how we're supposed to do it?
Yep.
I feel like I'm messing it up.
Yeah, just mess it up.
Okay.
So this one reminds me of palabok.
Actually,
Yeah, right? I'm just gonna change this plate. It's
Yes.
so much.
he needs a break. He
Yeah.
needs a break. Someone save him. Someone save him. Boom. The sauce isn't as sweet as I expected it to be. It's very peanut flavor.
Peanut flavor, yeah.
Yeah.
We still have the satay. Yeah.
So you probably have a mix here of lamb, beef,
Yeah. So
chicken.
they usually use the cucumber just to freshen up because you're having some onions and everything.
I think it's time to drink.
Yep.
It's been a ride tasting what Singapore has to offer, and now we end our day at the Ritz-Carlton.
We're here to visit the relatively new and impressive Republic Bar that made its debut as number 12 on Asia's Best Bar and number 90 on the World Best Bar list. Another fellow Filipino runs a cocktail program here.
So Republic is all about celebrating the decade and era of the 1960s. We wanted to showcase Republic as a house on top of a hill. That's why when you come into the lobby, it's like on the 3rd level of the hotel. Definitely, we wanted to showcase a little bit more in terms of Singapore, that people will see how people were living back then in 60s Singapore, but also including everyone in the world. Lion City is in the cinema section or theme of our menu, and it's the very first Chinese-produced film in Singapore, and the story or synopsis of the whole film is basically, it revolves around 2 people, the main characters. It's like a love story, but also showcasing what the politics of Singapore was, where they're already slowly getting out of the British Crown, so they're struggling to find their own identity. So what we did is we created a fusion drink of 2 cocktails, which is pina colada as well as a daiquiri, and we combined the 2 together with local flavors that are, I would say, much more common to this part of Southeast Asia, which is kaya and pandan.
I'm gonna be very honest, I've been dry for 3 months.
Really?
This better be the best drink in the world.
No pressure.
Oh, it's very pineapple-y. I love it. Yeah, so you said it was inspired by like a pina colada.
Like a pina colada, kind of like a daiquiri as well. Every time we drink pina coladas, it's like after a few sips, right? It's like, it's really good, but then it's heavy because of the cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to like still have that viscosity, so that's what we did with the kaya, is fat wash the rum itself.
And then this one is the Georgette.
Yeah, so Georgette is inspired by Georgette Chen, who's a pioneer in oil painting. In the late 60s, she was doing a lot of like fruit baskets as her art piece. There's a specific one that we were inspired with. It's called Tropical Fruits. Basically, it's like a cornucopia of different fruits in a basket, and we reimagined a lychee martini cocktail and turn it into a clarified soy milk drink. So it's a reimagined lychee martini. Yeah.
Wow. That will get you up. That is strong. With 2 of those, I think you're off for a good night.
Yeah. But to be honest, like this is one of our best sellers, like this too.
So you've been here now for 12 years.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I find that completely insane. That's great.
Yeah, so I started as an intern when I moved to Singapore. So I was lucky enough to get my internship in this property itself. But I was in housekeeping back then, dude. It's not easy, it's not fun.
Yeah.
But after that, like I did like 6 months, then went back home just to finish school. And then came back straight away. So yeah, that's 12 years ago.
What's kind of kept you in Singapore for that long?
I would say like the company that I work with and work for, they really give us a lot of opportunities. So from housekeeping, I was able to move to the bar, and from there they really saw that, I have kind of like the passion and the talent for it. Now I'm the head bartender for this very huge project, and
I mean, every bar has something to offer, right? So here it's kind of like you're in awe of how everything's put together, how the concept comes together, and then Ego is just like good drinks, good time, kind of like livelier, right? So
like definitely really good, because then you have like different spectrums of like an experience.
Yeah. Oh, to be young, to be young and capable again.
I know. Yeah.